All right. Good morning, everyone. Hopefully, you guys are having a nice day, being safe, staying inside. So, my name is Mike. I'll be your instructor here for the next hour. We are going to be discussing video editing on our phones. So, more specifically on the iPhone here today. I want to take a second to just thank you for joining us for this free online session here. And that at the end of the day, or at the end of the session, I'm going to give you a bit of time here to ask me any questions that you might have. Now, how it's going to go, it's again going to, we're going to start talking about the iOS settings. So even before you start editing your content, what do you have to do to make sure that you capture your video the way you want them? You want your video to be captured. So that is actually something that a lot of people don't actually do when they actually purchase their phone. They just use the settings the way they are set up right out of the box, but it is something that you should be looking at when working with these devices because a lot of people are actually using just part of the power of their phones instead of actually using the full power of their phones. And they just leave the default settings as is, and you never really actually get what you pay for. So, for example, a lot of new people around me have purchased the new iPhone 11 Pro, and they actually are shooting everything at 720p, not knowing that they're shooting everything at 920p, and they paid that premium price to get 4K, better quality, better video quality, and they're not actually even using it. So we're going to quickly take a look at the video settings here, making sure that you are set up the right way for editing your videos, either on a desktop. But again, obviously here today, we are going to concentrate on the iOS platform and doing your editing on the go, maybe on the bus, maybe waiting in a waiting room. Probably not right now, but hey. So we're going to take a look at the iOS native video app, which can be pretty easy to use, honestly. And it's pretty straightforward. And the nice thing about it is they kind of have these templates that I've actually used for years now, just for fun, quick little videos. So some of the videos I do with that is my kind of like yearly videos of my girls. So I have two daughters, and I kind of like to have a new video for them every birthday for the past year. So content from the past year. And we've kind of piled these up throughout the years, and they actually like to go back and just watch them because they're short, which is key, right? For those types of videos, they don't need to be 20 minutes long. People will actually have a hard time sitting down for watching a video for 20 minutes. So I try to keep them nice and short. And these templates are actually 60 to 90 seconds long. So it's kind of quick, straight to the point. But it's probably one of the favorite things for my daughters to go back and watch themselves grow up. So again, we're going to take a look. That is templates inside the iOS native application called iMovie that's on every iPhone when you first purchase it. If you did not delete it, of course. And then we're going to take a look at some more advanced third-party application. And Fusion is probably the most intense, but because it kind of there's quite a bit to it, there's definitely a learning curve, but it's almost a full out fleshed out video editing desktop on your phone. So it's very, very powerful. And we're going to spend a bit of time in there just kind of getting you comfortable with the environment. And you could actually use it again for free. So it's kind of nice that you can actually use it for free. However, I haven't checked actually recently if they gave it a price, but it was free for a long time. So we'll also talk about Rush, Adobe Rush, which is going to be able to you start editing on your phone and then you hand it off to your computer, and then you continue on your computer either in Adobe Premiere Pro or again Adobe Rush on your desktop. So those are some of the things we're going to talk about. And like I said, I'm going to give you a bit of time here this once the session is done to ask any questions. So we'll get started. I just want to confirm that you guys can hear my voice and see my screen here before we continue on. Maybe just in the chat, letting me know if you can hear my voice. Thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate that. All right, so we're gonna go jump right in there. I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen here with you so you have access to it. And here it is. Now this is an application called Mirage. On my computer, and now you should be able to see again my screen. So the first thing I want to do here is just jump into the setting right off the bat, and once again I'm going to scroll down quite a bit. Okay, it's kind of funny that they put the camera settings so low, but it's right before the third-party application section. So you can see it. We have TV, photo, camera, podcast, and game center. And I'm going to go ahead and jump in the camera section here. And I really want to concentrate on the video aspect. So the video aspect here is the record video and record slow-mo video. And if I jump into the record video, you can see that my application is actually set at 1080 resolution and 60 frames per second right now. And of course, if you have a significant amount of space, you are more than welcome to actually increase this to 4K at 60 frames per second if your video allows it, if your camera allows it. Obviously, this is very, very high-end quality, which means it's going to take you quite a bit of memory to save these videos. So if you take a look, you're looking at 400 megabytes, okay, with every single minute that you take. So if you are going to leave videos on your phone constantly and never export them to an external hard drive or something like that, your phone is going to be filled up pretty quickly, actually, significantly faster than if you leave it to 1080p. Now, again, most of the videos I'm doing, again, is video around the house, video around, just taking videos of the girls, the dogs, things like that. So I don't really need the 4K for that type of video. When I need it, then it's there, that I can go and jump in there. But most of the videos I record it for 1080p. Most of them are ending up on YouTube, and 70% of people who are watching YouTube videos, they're watching it on their phones. And since they're watching on their phones, they won't be able to notice the difference between 1080p versus 4K on a small, tiny little device here. If they blow it up on, like I said, on your, they watch it on TV or something like that, that's when they might be noticing a little bit of a difference. But honestly, it's not really worth the quality of 4K for every single video you take. If you're trying to do a video production and making a video high quality as much as possible, then yeah, go for it. Go record in 4K. It's going to give you more flexibility. It's going to allow you to zoom in and zoom out a lot more efficiently without losing quality. So if you do need that power, go ahead, choose 4K at 60 frames per second. At that point, the 60 frames per second is really only useful if you are doing any type of slow motion, right? If you're not doing any type of slow motion, then drop that down to 30 frames per second. And if you want more of a movie type of feel to it, you can always drop that down to 24 frames per second, which is what movies are filmed at. At that point, actually, movies most of the time are filmed at 23.98. But in this case, we don't have that option, so 24 frames per second. So lots of different options here. I don't really recommend you drop this to 720p. Honestly, this is the one thing I don't really want to do. And I always like to potentially be able to do slow motion. So I always pick the 60 frames per second. That way, if I need to drop this at 50% of the speed, I still have 30 frames per second for slow motion. So my recommendation is, if you're worried about space, if you bought a 64 gig phone, then the 4K at 60 frames is not going to last you very long. Okay, you're going to fill up your phone very, very quickly. If you bought a 256 gigabyte of memory, then again, maybe you want to film in 4K. But if you're not going to do slow motion, then drop that down to 30 frames per second. All right. All that being said, okay, it is something you want to keep an eye out. And then there's slow motion, right? Everybody likes the good old slow motion. And in this case, we can actually film in three different options when it comes to slow motion. 120 frames per second, which is it's that's in my opinion the sweet spot. 240 frames is going beyond what you actually need. Watching it, unless you're like exploding a balloon with water in there and you really want to slow it down dramatically, I think 120 frames is more than enough frames for slow motion. But again, if you want to dial that up to 240 frames, you can obviously do that here if you have a phone that supports it. And yeah, so if I go to format in this case, this is for pictures. So if we go back, we want to keep it to 1080p most of the time, 60 frames per second. That just allows you to do a bit of slow motion. And if you want more advanced slow motion, then again, you have the 120 frames. That's kind of the sweet spot for me. So that's the settings. Not the most fun part of the day, but kind of important nonetheless, because the next part is the video app. Now, as you can see here, I have quite a bit of different applications when it comes to video. We have Luma FX, which is for special effects. We're not gonna, well, maybe we'll have time, we'll see. But the one I want to concentrate on right here is iMovie, as well as Luma Fusion, which is the one in the middle at the top, and the bottom left, which is Premiere Rush. Okay, so that's the three I definitely want to get to. Uh, Filmic Pro is definitely a fantastic application if you need to have more control when recording the video. So that is pre-production, when you're actually doing the recording of the video, not post-production. So it's actually during production, I should say. And Filmic Pro will allow you to have control over things like white balance and focus, which the typical application that you would use to record video on your iPhone would not allow you to do. It would all be automatic, versus Filmic Pro allows you to do manual focus, manual auto, manual white balance, and a lot more advanced options. So we might take a quick peek in there as well. But I want to start with iMovie. It is the one that if you're just looking to get started very quickly, jump in there and start making videos, easy application to get started with. This is it. Okay. And it's free. It comes with your iPhone, and you can create two types of projects. So as you can see, there's actually just three things I can click on. Create a new project, the ellipsis at the bottom to import a project, or view your videos in theater mode, and then help section at the bottom right. So obviously we're just going to go and create a new project, and this is where it allows you to do two types of projects. A movie, at which point you're starting from scratch and you're kind of doing everything yourself, versus a trailer, which is what I was talking about, which kind of creates this template for you to use. And it's, like I said, I've actually been using this, the trailer one, for my videos for my girls on a yearly basis because of how easy it is to use, and it's a nice short video. So if I do trailer, it gives you these different templates and you keep adding to them. Now, I haven't seen a new one in like a couple of years, so I was kind of disappointed that they kind of stopped creating these templates for you. But I've used most of these except for Bollywood, I think, in some sort of way for creating a video. So let's say I want to, I do the next birthday, or maybe I want to do a video of the dogs I was babysitting. Let's do that. Let's do a video of the dogs I was babysitting. So maybe they're superhero dogs. So I'm going to go ahead and choose superhero here. And you can actually see a little preview and you can see how long it's going to last. It's 59 seconds. And if I press play, so you can kind of get the gist, the feel. Maybe I want a different type, maybe teen here. So this one is a minute and 24 seconds. So again, they have these little templates. I'm not going to do all of them, obviously, but again, you can kind of get started with one of them, and then you just click create at the top right. You can see this is good for 2 to 6 members, cast members. Click create at the top right, and you're in there. So the first thing is the information sheet that you're going to fill out. That it's going to use these throughout the template, if you will. So you have the outline and the storyboard. So I'm on the outline right now, and I have the storyboard next. Okay, and you're going to notice they even recommend the size of the videos that you should be putting in. So I mean the positioning, for example, if it's a group image versus a close-up image. Now again, you can kind of ignore this and just put whatever image you want, whatever feels right. But typically, you have the outline here, and you have the storyboard, and you can kind of play around with um, all of these just by clicking below. And we're going to go ahead and just clear this out where we'll see the bulldogs. And then I can select my first video here. And I'm going to go recently, no, I'm going to go and find the video folder here, which apparently is gone. Might have to do add all. All right, so we have the first bulldog video here, and this one's going to be a 2-second clip. So I'm going to find the part that I want just by scrubbing my finger over. I can kind of preview by pressing play. And I like that one, so I'm going to click the little add, and there it is, 2 seconds right there. Then it wants another video. Again, just scroll down, find another dog video here for another 2 seconds. And I can add another one like that. So it's pretty straightforward here. It's pretty simple to use. And again, find the next one. This is a very short one, so maybe I want to just, there we go, add that one like that. And that's pretty much the gist of it. You literally just go and add parts of the videos that you want. And you can see they're all pretty quick. And now we have a longer 1-second video here, so maybe I want to use this part. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing here, but that's the gist. You can go back, done, and you can kind of preview what you've got. So go back to the top, press the little clear, created by TCD. And there you have it, done. Preview the video. Obviously, you change the text, but it's insanely straightforward. Now, you even have an undo button at the top right, and that's it. So you would fill this out with the videos you want. I'm not going to do the whole thing because that'd be kind of time consuming, but it's pretty straightforward to use. Now, when you're done, you just hit done, and you have the ability to export your video. Whenever you see the arrow pointing up with a box, which is the middle button at the bottom here, it allows you to export, and you can export to your camera roll. So you can see here, save to video is typically what I would use. But you could also export your document, if you wanted to let's say iMovie for the desktop. So if you have a Mac computer and you want to continue working on this on your Mac, you could do that. You could export your project for the Mac. Okay, so an iMovie in the Mac. Okay, apparently didn't like my cancel. I'll just let it go. And now I would be able to save it to files and open that up on my Mac. So again, super straightforward, super easy to use. And that's the templates. Now, if you don't want to use the templates, okay, you do have the ability to just create a brand spanking new video from scratch using your own footage as well. So I would select some of the footage I want to use here. Over here. And I'll just pick one more. There we go. So I have these part selected. I just click create and it's going to import them in the timeline. And in this case, when I do it this way, I have control over pretty much how long every clip is. You would select it. You have the ability to, of course, do some splitting. So split the video in two. And in this case, I can even delete that part of the video. I can continue. Okay, that's what quarantine life looks like here in our house right now. But again, I could actually attach this. I could slow it down. You have some ramping that you can use. You have some text that you can add on top. And again, if I were to just add that on top here, here we go. Done. And then I could go back to my editing tool. So pretty straightforward things here to look at. Now you even have color correction that you could do. So if you wanted to add some effects, maybe some black and white effects, you could do that. So again, these are kind of LUTs. They are able to just change the feel of the video quite quickly. So this is all inside the application that comes with every iPhone. So it's very clean, very simple to use. Now, if you wanted something a little bit more powerful, for example, putting layers on top of layers, if you've ever done that, this is not the application for that. This is very simple videos, very little amount of control, but because there's very little amount of control, it's easy to manipulate and do your video editing on the go for simple videos. Once again, you can export, or of course, you can delete the project. And I'm just going to get rid of this one as well. And there it is. So that's a quick overview of iMovie. Very simple to use. If you want more control, a more advanced option, then that's where LumaFusion comes in. And again, LumaFusion is pretty much a desktop video editor on your phone. Now, there's quite a bit to it, but here's the gist of it. I can quickly create a new project just by clicking a little plus at the bottom left here. And I can name the project whatever I want to. Choose my frame rate. So if I want the video style that maybe a more filmic style. And now if you're going to share your video, let's say on Twitter, or you're going to share your video on TikTok, well, you might want to change the aspect ratio to a different size. You actually might want to use square instead. So in this case, they have a ton of different presets for the aspect ratio, depending on where you're going to share these videos. So I'm going to go ahead and just share it with the typical landscape 16:9, which is the more popular one here. And it is a lot, again, significantly more advanced. Now, when I'm ready, I'm click the little plus, and I have my project here. And you're going to notice that I have quite a lot more things to kind of worry about. I can actually check the volume level and adjust the volume level for both the video file and any audio file that I put. I can actually open this up and actually hide, lock, and view layers, all things that are available on native desktop applications. So it's pretty powerful stuff. Now, if I add some videos in here, again, I'm just gonna go ahead and add parts of it. You can see here, I can actually even select part of the video. Before I even put the video in here, I can select, just like on a desktop, part of the video I wanna put. Once I have the video, the part I want, I can actually quickly just add it to my video. And in this case here, I want this part. There it is, okay? I'm just gonna hide this, giving myself a little bit more. Oh, why is it not allowing me to add it? All of a sudden, where's mine? All right, I'm not sure where, I think I need to restart the app here. My add to project is not. Usually there's a little arrow down on right of the next. I'm not sure if there's a bug right now. I'll have to restart the app here. But I can quickly add the video. For some reason, it's not appearing. So this application, again, was free. I'd have to double check if it's still free. Now, again, other things that you can quickly add here is the audio stuff. So again, if I want to go get files from my iCloud, I would be able to add some music as well, just by clicking and dragging there. And you can see here we have now some music. That was from my iFolder, so my iPhone folder. If I want to go back to my photos here, let's see if that fixed the bug here. I can kind of click and drag it in this way, but I don't want the whole video, the whole part of the video here. So I do have the ability to kind of just play around. Let's say we want the music here to start a little bit more to left. I'm just moving this around. And the big powerful part here that I kind of wanted to show is video on top of video, which again, most iPhone application don't allow you to add multiple layers of videos. And you can see here, I actually have a video on top of a video on top of a video. That's kind of like unheard of for a mobile application. So you have a ton of control here. And again, at the bottom, you have the ability to clip parts of the video. You can see the scissors. You can see I can delete that clip. I can edit that part of that video to even change the positioning. I can do pretty much anything you can do on a desktop, you can do here on this application. Now the volume of the music is way too loud here. So if I click on it, I click the little pencil to edit it. I have the ability to reduce the sound, maybe even change the tone here so that it's more of a background. So I'm going to turn on the limiter, for example, which is going to make it more of a background noise, background music. Maybe that's a little too low. So again, you can kind of play around with that audio file natively. I don't think this is a good video here. I'm just going to go ahead and remove that video. So the gist here is it's a pretty advanced application that you can kind of just play around. And if you don't like this view, you have different views that you can kind of reorganize this in a way that works for you. Maybe you'd like to work in landscape mode. At that point, you're using significantly more of the view. For the preview is a little smaller, but maybe working with files is a little bit easier. So again, you can change the view that you're working in whichever way you kind of prefer. I think this is a pretty nice one here in landscape mode. So in my opinion, if you really, really want power when it comes to editing on the go, there is definitely a learning curve, but this is it. This is the application that's going to allow you to modify videos. Oh, Barbara, is it $39.99 now? That's significantly more than obviously before. Thank you, Barbara. Yeah, it's a very powerful application. Maybe wait if to see if it goes on sale or something like that. If you find $40 a little much, it's probably one of the more expensive application then. Now, when it comes to importing, you can actually import video from the cloud. So if you're working with, iMovie or something like that, you can actually do that. So if you're working with iCloud, I should say, you can do that. There's transitions, there's titles, there's story blocks. If you're ever subscribed to a story block, now if you've never heard of story block, it's kind of like template video files that you can kind of use for adding to your video. So it actually has a story block section here where you can have things like backgrounds. And you can see here, some of these are free, so that's great. So again, you do need to subscribe, sign up, and then that little thumbnail in the middle of the video should go away. But these are template video files that you can use to add to your project. Now, if you're looking for more footage type, somebody running, this one is 20 seconds of slow motion running. You're looking for city, there it is. So again, there is a ton of video that you can kind of use. There's loops, there's sound effects. And again, that is if you are a story block user. Now, import files, importing photos from your video and your phone. You can do that as well. Lots and lots and lots of different things here you can do with this application. So that's the quick overview of LumaFusion. Now there's LumaFusion effects on the left side to create some special effects. I'm not going to do that right now, but that's like the cream of the crop when it comes to mobile editing. The top of the line application for mobile editing. Now it actually works on your iPad as well. So if you have a tablet, that's where it really, really shines because you have a little bit more screen real estate. And it's the reason I got it is because I have an iPad Pro and I wanted to be able to edit video in a more professional way than iMovie allows you to. So again, ended up getting LumaFusion for my tablet and obviously came on my phone as well. And I use it once in a while to edit video on the phone. Now, Premiere Rush is kind of like the newest one that I've started using here. So this is where I'm doing videos on my phone, but I want to then move on to the desktop later on. So I kind of organize the videos on my phone and I kind of cut it on my phone. And then when I'm ready, I actually just share that. Actually, I don't have to do anything. It does it automatically. That's kind of the neat part. If I click on Winter Fun here, you have a simple layout. As you can see, it's a lot more simple than what you just saw with LumaFusion. because it's not really meant to do anything complicated. It's to get started quickly. And you can see here, I can turn on my timeline for my audio and video. And you'll notice that blue circle at the top. Okay, so, oh, you're actually just seeing, for some weird reason. Here we go. If I click on this, it goes to the video preview. How am I? That's, I won't be able to show it then. All right, let's see if I can just take a screenshot here. Yeah, so I'm just going to take a screenshot and explain to you the behind the scenes here. All right, I'm going to bring that up. Just going to share right here. So the part I kind of want you to notice is this part right here. Okay. So as you're doing your editing, it's constantly uploading this file onto your Adobe Rush account. So that is something that, again, Adobe Rush comes with the Adobe Suite. So if you have Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, then you have Adobe Rush that comes with it. So because it's all synced to your account, when you're editing on your phone, it's automatically uploading this to the cloud with your Adobe account. And then when you get to your computer, you just open up your application and you continue working with that project. So that's kind of the part that's unique about Adobe Rush is it's constantly sending it back to the cloud for you, uploading the files for you. So this is the kind of like the little thing you need to keep an eye out. So if you're kind of looking to work in mobile, but then want more power later on and finish it on a desktop, maybe Adobe Rush is the one that you might be interested in. So again, I'm just showing you the different possibilities, the way you want to work. You don't have to use all these applications. I'm showing you the different ones to see what works for you. If you want something simple, iMovie it is. If you want something all on your mobile and you don't want to have to work on a computer and you really want a lot of power, then LumaFusion is definitely the one you want. If you want to kind of do a little bit of both, you want to edit on the go, but want to do more powerful stuff a little bit later on, that's where Adobe Rush comes in. So you got to find the right application that works for you, for your project that you're working on. All right, let's go back to my Mirage here. All right, close this down. And bring it back up. All right, so other things here I kind of quickly show is if you are going to be taking videos on your phone and you want a lot more power with your phone, this is where an application like Filmic Pro comes in. And in this case, you're going to notice that. I'm going to go ahead and film my coffee cup. You have three different elements here that you can control with your phone. So you have the focus. What you want to focus on is the little circle. This is, again, allowing you to really focus on the element that you're interested in. Then you have, again, the face detection here that you can kind of move around as well. And you have a zoom level all available to you on your mobile device. So if I go to landscape mode, that's where you get quite a bit more information about this application when you're video recording. So you can actually see your level, your dB levels on the left side here. And then if you want a lot more power, you can see that I can click on the settings application and you can actually change the resolution right in here to a lot of different aspect ratio. So once again, if you're doing some video for social media, you can quickly crop that down 1-to-1 ratio, which is a very popular ratio for things like TikTok and Twitter and Instagram. You can actually record in the way you're going to publish your document or your video. Again, 99% of the time I film in 16:9, but that's just me. Now, again, you have your different resolution that you can kind of change here, and you have way more options than you would in your native application. So again, that is just inside this application. Now I can change the frame rate to way more different frame rates. So if you want more power, you can do that. If you want to actually plug in an external microphone, you can actually do that as well. Bluetooth microphone can be enabled here very, very quickly. You have different devices that you can potentially say, hey, when I record a video, save to the camera roll. I can say, no, just save it to this application. You even have presets that you can save. So you can see here, I have a preset called 24 frames per second, and at which point it's going to just restore all my settings to that options. You have stabilization. You can turn that off. So now, again, there's zero stabilization on my phone. If I turn that back on, there is stabilization on my phone. Most of the time, you probably want to leave that on unless you're using a stabilizer, an external stabilizer, at which point you might want to turn on the software stabilizer off. So quite a bit of information. If I want to potentially take a look at more advanced settings, you can see here I can really change the look. I can play around with the temperature. I can play around with the tint. So again, a lot of times you're filming at home and you get that yellow view. You can kind of see that yellow view here. Now there is some different presets that you can change that. You can see I just got rid of that yellow view by choosing a preset at the bottom. Now if I'm filming outside, I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, well, there's going to be a lot of blue. So I'm going to go ahead and push the yellow in. If there's a cloudy day, if again I have LED lights, if I again want to create some presets, I have a preset A, preset B, and again you have auto white balance that will automatically figure it out for you. So you can see lots and lots of different presets. You can actually have even more advanced features that I didn't enable, but you can kind of see here. You can play around with quite a few things. It's apparently $20 here in this case to unlock these advanced features. And this is definitely an application that gives you a lot more control about the type of video you're actually recording. So before you even start your project, you have a lot more control, and that's going to allow you to do a lot less editing, post-production, adjusting a lot less afterwards. So quite a few. I can even do some manual focus, which is pretty crazy. So if I take a look here, I'm going to go out of focus on purpose. Out of focus on purpose, and then I'm going to dial this in, and you can see here I can actually manipulate the focus just by sliding my finger up and down, which is something that you definitely cannot do with the native video recording application that comes with your iPhone. Now again, I can change that to zoom, and then I can zoom in and zoom out. So I don't typically use the software zoom very much, but the focus, in my opinion, here is the big one that you can do. So this application, when it comes to color correction, when it comes to control, now I can actually lock this focus and the white balance on this cup. And you can see here it's red now. If I click on this, now it's going to automatically adjust to whatever's inside the frame. However, if I want to say, no, lock the focus to that cup, now the focus is locked. Lock the white balance to that cup, now it's locked. So no matter where I move my camera, if I take a look outside, you can see that the white balance is not changing and the focus is still in the cup. So if I come back to the cup, it's going to be right in the focus. And again, the white balance is going to be perfect for that cup. Move back to the window outside and you can see it's way too bright. So again, if I turn that off, the white focus, it will automatically adjust. And now if I lock this one in, then you're going to notice that this is going to be really dark because I locked it into the outside camera. These are all things that you can't do with the native application that's on your phone. This is, again, if you ever want more power, this is a fantastic application. You can actually see the color, the temperature, again, at the bottom right here, you can kind of 4,700K. I don't want to go crazy in this, but if you ever want more power when it comes to recording your videos, this is it. And Filmic Pro, again, is the name of the application here. So, iMovie, Filmic Pro, Premiere Rush, LumaFusion. Like I said, you don't have to use all of them. This was kind of giving you an idea of maybe where you want to go with it. Where maybe you're going to say, okay, no, I just want to keep things simple. I'm going to use iMovie. Oh, okay, I want more control. I'm going to use Filmic Pro with LumaFusion. Or again, you're going to use Filmic Pro to have more control recording your video, but you're going to maybe work on a desktop. So you're going to use a Premiere Rush to get started. Other fun little applications, since we have a bit more time here, is Video Leap. It's not, again, this one is a subscription base, but you can kind of do some fun little effects with your video here, just to give you an idea. So some fun wording and things like that. I've never paid for it, honestly, because I don't find myself to do these types of effects. But I kind of wanted to show it off a little bit here. And you can see some of the things are free, some of the things you have to pay for, but these are more for effects based. So you can kind of create some special effects, some things like lens flare and things like that. Luma Effects is, again, a special effects version of Luma, which if you ever want to do some special effects, you can use that as well. So that's kind of like the gist of it here. If you ever want more stable video, there's even a gimbal that you can buy that will stabilize your video, your footage quite a bit. All right. Any comments or questions regarding any of these? So if we go applications here, remove the section for video. No, bottom. See all categories, photo and video. And again, you're going to find photo and video part. These are pictures. I don't want picture. I want video. So there's even more here. Filmic Pro Video Editor, Thriller Social Video Platform. There's other ones that you can maybe explore with as well. Rachel says, I missed a second and missed out on making your own templates on the iPhone. So making your own templates or using templates? Because iMovie has predefined templates for you to use if that's what you're talking about. No, so I didn't talk about making own templates when it comes to editing on your phone. No, not a problem. Any other comments or questions? So hopefully it gave you a bit of a better view of what you can and can't do. Actually, there's not much you can't do, honestly. It just depends on what you want to purchase on your phone. Like I said, Filmic Pro gives you way more control when recording. Luma Fusion is pretty much a full fleshed out video editing tool on your phone or your tablet. And I definitely did not pay $40 for it. Maybe it was on sale or they had a deal going on, but it also is available for your iPad if you have an iPad. All right, well, it went a little faster than I expected. If you have any comments or questions, stick around. If not, well, thank you for joining us, and hopefully you learn a few different things. Again, I didn't want to go into too much detail about each app because they're all different, and that would be kind of a course for itself, just to give you an idea of maybe what you might be interested in. Yeah, Barbara, for sure. You know, if you compare it to a desktop application, it's nothing. It costs nothing, right? Desktop application run you $300.
And it looks like you can do almost anything you need to do for a short, like 60-second video or something on it,
100,
especially the way you can layer things with it.
which is probably one of the unique things that most of other applications I've used on my phone don't allow you to do. So you're correct. Yeah.